Welcome to Lily de Silva, Lesson 2. As before, I will just read slowly through the words in the vocabulary. We're on page 4, and you can just follow the meaning which is set out in English against each of them. Dhamma, Bhatta, Odana, Gama, Surya, Chanda. Now 3 words for a dog. Kukura, Sunaka, Sona. Vihara, Patta, Avata, Pabbata, Yachaka, Sigala, Rukha. By the way, don't learn all these by heart yet. The main purpose of what we're doing here is to familiarize you with the structure of Pali and the grammar of Pali. By all means, learn these words by heart if you want to, but it's not necessary for what we're doing. What is necessary is for you to understand as we go along the grammar and the structure of the sentences, why the sentences mean what they mean, why the endings of those words are what they are. So concentrate on that. Don't overburden your memory, unless you particularly want to, with learning large lists of words. Now to the verbs. Harati, aharati, aruhati, uruhati, yachati, khanati, vijhati, paharati, rakhati, vandati. Now in English, when we're giving a list of verbs, we would put them just in their simplest form. In French or Latin, we'd put them in the infinitive form. But a number of languages, in German, for example, and in Spanish and Italian, we'd quote a verb in the infinitive form. What's the Italian for love? It's amare. Amar in Spanish, aimer in French, lieben in German. That's the way we'd quote the verb. It is common and usual, and you will find it in dictionaries as well, just as the noun is quoted in a dictionary in its stem form. Then a verb will typically, in a Pali dictionary, be quoted in its third-person singular form. So if you're looking, say, look at the verb passanti, they see. Well, how do you look this verb up? You'd look it up as passati, the third-person singular in a dictionary. Now here we're going to look at the accusative case, where instead of the characteristic o of the nominative case, that's for masculine nouns in stem a, the o becomes So that is the distinguishing mark. So look now at the top of page 2. So before we go there, the accusative, it's the object of the verb. What you're doing something, that something is the object of the verb. The accusative is used in Pali and Sanskrit also, what's known as the accusative of motion. That's if you're going to something. In English, you say you're going to town. In Sanskrit and Pali, you're just going town, and you'd put that in the accusative, known as the accusative of motion, or motion towards. So nara in the accusative becomes naram, and matula, nominative matulo, accusative matulam, stem form kassaka, nominative singular kassako, accusative singular kassakam. In the plural, for masculine nouns in stem a, we lengthen the a, so nara, nara, matula, matula, kassaka, kassaka. That's the nominative. In the accusative, it becomes an e. So nare matule kasake. We're now going to section 3, examples in sentence formation. Putto naram passati. The son sees the man. Now, note here that in English, we tend to go subject, verb, object. The son sees the man. It's most commonly, almost invariably, in Pali and Sanskrit, the verb comes at the end of the sentence. So the son, the man sees. It is usual to put subject, object, verb. You can reverse subject, object. So this sentence equally could have read Naram putto passati. But you'd still know which was the subject and which was the object, because you say naram, that is the accusative. Putto, that is the nominative. Therefore, the nominative must be the subject of the verb. So in English, if you said the son sees the man, it has one fixed meaning. If you say the man sees the son, it has an entirely opposite meaning, because we don't distinguish subject and object in the shape of the word, the form of the word. We distinguish them only by their position in the sentence. In Pali and Sanskrit, they are distinguished by their shape, their form, the characteristic o for the nominative, for the accusative. And so even if you swap the order of those two words round, it doesn't alter the meaning, because the words themselves show what their function is. Now to number 2, Brahmano matulam rakhati. The Brahman protects the uncle. Varnijo kassakam paharati. In the plural, again, we see the characteristic, instead of the ti for the singular of the third person verb, it becomes the characteristic nti, nti. Putta nare passanti. Sons see men. Brahmana matule rakhanti. Varnija kassake paharanti. Merchants hit farmers. Here now, in the exercise sentences for translation into English, we're going to see a bit mixed up. We're going to see subjects in the singular with objects in the plural and vice versa. But you'll always know, if you've got these now 4 endings in your mind, the o, a, and and e, you'll always know whether it's a nominative, the subject of the verb, or an accusative, the object of the verb. So I will read these to you slowly. Again, I won't translate, because you'll be very easily able to translate them just by referring back to the vocabulary. Tathagato dhammam bahasati. Brahmana odanam bhunjanti. Manusso suryam passati. Kumara sigale paharanti. Yachaka bhattam yachanti. Kassaka avarte kananti. Mitto gamam agachati. I'll pause there. In the previous 6 sentences, in each case, the accusative, the dhammam, udanam, suryam, and so on, are the direct object of the verb, and the same as it would be in English. In sentence number 7, mitto gamam agachati, this is the accusative of motion. You can tell by the verb, agachati, he comes. So the friend is coming to the village. Mitto gamam agachati. We carry on. Bhupalo manuse rakkati. Butta pabbatam gachanti. There we have another accusative of motion. The sons gachanti are going pabbatam, to the mountain. Butta pabbatam gachanti. Kumaro buddham vandati. Vanija patte aharanti. Puriso viharam gacchati. Another accusative of motion there. That the man is going to the vihara, going to the temple. Kukura pabbatam dhavanti. Sigala gamama gachanti. The jackals are coming to the village. Brahmana sahayake aharanti. Bhupala sugatam vandanti. Yachaka sayanti. Now here you see there's no object of the verb there, because it's an intransitive verb. It just means they're sleeping. That the verb means to lie down or to sleep. So it's just the beggars are sleeping, or the beggars are lying down. No object of the verb, so simply yachaka sayanti, rather the same as we would do in English. Mitta sunakhe haranti. Putto chandam passati. Kassako gamandhavati. Vanija rukhe chindanti. Naro sigalam vijhati. Kumaro odanam bhunjati. Yarchako sonam paharati. Sahayaka pabbate aruhanti. And as I mentioned in the last lesson, looking at these sentences, even if you didn't know what the words meant, and you saw a sentence that, say for example sentence number 5, taking it round, you've got a word ending in a, you've got another word ending in and you've got a word ending in anti. Well, 99% of the time you'd be right in saying, well, that must be a masculine nominative plural ending in a. The anti is the verb, so it's the plural noun is doing this verb, whatever the verb may mean, and the word ending in the accusative that has to be the object of the verb. So again, this shows how the shape of the word in Pali can indicate its function in the sentence, like subject, object, verb, even though you may not know the meaning of the word itself. Good, that's it for lesson 2.